Yeah, we can start now. So others can join us later.
Okay. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, biqudwatillahi, we are going to start with the opening prayer. Inshallah, we'll call one of our elders in the group, Ustaz Abdul Karim Adinekon, to give us the opening prayer. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, who was out of infinite mercy, made it possible for us to gather this night with the aim of listening to this lecture. We pray to Him to accept, to make it possible for us to understand it the way it's going to be presented, even more than the way it's going to be presented. And we pray unto Him to make it benefit us here and the hereafter. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
Alhamdulillah, we pray may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the dua on each and every one of us. So inshallah, we'll call on one of our brother, Ustaz Ismail Adebayo, to give us a recitation from the glorious Quran. Ustaz Ismail Adebayo, are you there?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال يا ابن لا تأخذ بلحيتي ولا برأسي إني خشيت أن تقول فرقت بين بني إسرائيل ولم ترقب قولي قال فما خطبك يا سامري قال بصرت بما لم يبصروا به فقبضت قبضة من أثر الرسول فنبذتها وكذلك سولت لي نفسي قال فاذهب فإن لك في الحياة أن تقول لا مساس وإن لك موعدا لن تخلفه وانظر إلى إلهك الذي ظلت عليه عاكفا لنحرقنه ثم لننسفنه في اليم نسفا صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم وبالغ رسوله الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين. I'll give thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made it easy for us and for our brother to recite for us and for us to have listened. Pray that the benefit of reciting and listening to the glorious Quran, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiply it in this sacred month of East, the month of Muharram, so that we can have a multiple reward. Ameen. Inshallah, we want to quickly recognize some of our leaders and our other ones that are with us, especially the chairperson for today, in person of Ajia Alima Ahmad. Please, we want you to say Taslim to the house before we continue. Bismillah, Ajia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also want to recognize the mother of today's occasion, in person of my sister. She's my sister. There's no other person than Ajia Mujiba Akorede. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We also recognize every one of us for creating time to join us We pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward each and every one of you in abundantly. Because of time, I would like to introduce the guest lecturer for today. And that's this guest lecturer is my friend who used to play together then in the olden days. I'm sure he's listening. Hey, Allah Akbar. We thank Allah for everything. It's no other person than Mr. Shafi Olavanjo. So please, he's going to take us through mentoring in the digital age from zero to hero, inshallah. So, Mr. Shafi, Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to believe, yes. Okay, that's fine. I want to believe you can all hear me clearly.
Yes.
Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me use this opportunity. Yes, let me use this opportunity to first thank the organizer for bringing this program up. And I want to believe that it's actually a right decision in the right direction, because the truth of the matter is that our Gen Z or the millennial age are actually facing a lot of challenges today. And one of the challenges is, number one, either they are not being mentored very well, or number two, those that are supposed to mentor them are not capable. Because the truth of the matter is that if you are not a capable or an efficient mentor, you can never give what you don't have. So my expectation is that today's forum is going to go a long way in honing our mentoring skills as mentors or potential mentors. So the topic of discourse as given to me is mentoring in the digital age from zero to hero. And when I was preparing this the lecture, I was actually at a crossroad. I actually was thinking that who should be my focus? Should it be the mentor or the mentees? But eventually I concluded that my presentation should focus primarily on the mentors. However, I'm not saying that the mentees cannot benefit from the discussion, but majorly is going to focus more on the mentors. Reason being that I want to believe that about 80 to 90% of us who are here today is either we are probably currently mentors or we are potential mentors. So that's what actually informed my decision to focus largely or primarily on the mentors. So that is just by the way. However, I also try to set a kind of target for myself by way of learning objectives that what we intend to achieve at the end of this presentation. And I came up with 5 objectives. The first one being that at the end of this presentation, because when you talk about mentoring, there are some terminologies or concepts that are associated with the concept of mentoring. So at the end of this presentation, my expectation is that we should understand the concept of mentoring and what it entails. That's number one. And number two is that at the end of this presentation, we should be able to identify necessary skills and competencies for an effective mentoring. As I made mention at the beginning, you can't give what you don't have. And that thing that can actually position a mentor or a potential mentor to give something to this class of youth are your skills and competencies. So that is the second objective. The third objective is that at the end of the presentation, we should be able to identify challenges with mentoring in digital age. Much as digital age has brought a lot of prospects, a lot of advantages, a lot of opportunities. Same way, it has actually come with a lot of challenges. So my expectation is that we should be able to identify the challenges. However, we won't just identify the challenges. We should also be able to know how do we manage these drawbacks? How do we navigate these challenges in the digital age? And conclusively, the last objective is that I expect us present here today to become a better mentor. So these are 5 objectives that I've actually set. And I want to believe that it is in line with the expectation of the organizers. I want to know if the organizer can confirm that I'm on track before I go into the topic proper.
Yes, sir. You are right there on track. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for that confirmation. Now, there's an adage in Yoruba that says, where we are going is not actually far, but we may probably need to brush in 1 or 2 places. So to achieve the aforementioned objectives, I've set about 5 or 6 objectives, agenda for us this night. So firstly, I'll be speaking to what we call introduction. That is introduction into the topic proper. Though I've given one, but I still intend to give another introduction. So just set the ground. And after that, I try to look at some statistics about mentoring, which I also intend to speak to. After that, as I mentioned, my objectives, overview of the concept. There are some concepts about mentor which we are going to look at. After which we are going to look at mentoring skill model, and also navigating mentoring challenges. Under that, when we talk about the challenges, I mean the drawback, we're also going to look at way forward. That is, how do we mitigate the challenges? After which we go to takeaway and conclusion. So basically, the major thing we want to emphasize are like 4. Fact about mentoring, overview of our concept, mentoring skills, and also navigating mentoring challenges. So takeaway just like summary, and conclusion is just to bid ourselves goodbye. Now to get started, you see, we all realize with me that education is very, very important, because education can go a long way in changing the life of people, regardless of your age. And there's no way we talk about education and we don't talk about information. There is this normal saying about information. They will say, he who is not informed will be deformed. So one of the best ways by which we can be informed in order not for us to be deformed is through education. But we have been made to realize that this education, we have informal and formal education. The one we are very much used to is formal education. But the truth of the matter is that research has revealed that a lot of things we are not being taught in formal education. You know, because the outcome of formal education is for you to get certificate. But the truth of the matter is that in the world we are in today, formal education is not enough to make you. So that is why informal education is also very, very key. So when we're talking about informal education, one of the old form of informal education is mentoring. I was trying to look at the origin of mentoring, and I come to realize that mentoring as a concept is actually dated back to about 3,000 years ago. About 3,000 years ago, I read the story of a man who was a warrior. I think they called the name of the man Omar Odyssey. They say Omar Odyssey was a warrior, and there was a time he wanted to go on a war. They called the war Trojan War. And he has a son by name Telemachus. So when he wanted to go on that war, he realized that, you know, it's possible to go to war and you never come.
We can no longer hear you, sir. Hello?
Yeah, I can confirm that we can't hear him again. I was thinking it's from my side, but this is not from mine now.
I too, I cannot hear the lecturer again.
let's do in time. I guess it's the network on the side. Maybe it's trying to speak network.
Moderator, you can call the lecturer. Let us know what is happening.
We are on that, sir.
It's not speaking.
Yes, we are waiting for the speaker to come back on. Please, let's just hold on.
Okay.
So I've just gotten back from the lecture. So let's give him a few minutes to adjust his network. So it's a network issue. Inshallah, we're going to get back to us.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can hear you.
I'm sorry, I don't know that I've lost its connection. It's actually technical glitch. So let me try to share my screen again. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So that's one of the challenges with
sorry, sir.
Digging to Age.
Hello. Can you also share? Can you also project your slide instead of picking it one after the other? Can you just project it so that people from here can see it? I don't know if you understand me. Hello.
And please, the
can you
facilitator,
get
can
it?
you please place your slide on slideshow so that we can see it on a bigger format? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Maybe you can rewind back 5 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Now, if the slideshow are not visible enough, you can just take your time to zoom the slideshow yourself. So, in case the lecturer is not projecting.
How do I do that?
The lecturer, you can go ahead, please.
So are you still with us? I think we've lost him again.
Yeah, so I'm thinking so. I think we've lost him. Technical issues.
So, while we try as much as possible to wait for our lecturers, we want to ensure maybe our participants are fully in line with what the lecturers have said. So far, let's go into the chat box and let's type part of the objectives that the lecturer has stated. I think he has itemized some objectives for us to achieve as the takeaway from this program. So let's go into the chat box and put up what you might have taken down so far. We are expecting them.
تعظيم المتوحد بالجلال بكمال الجمال تعظيما
Yeah, Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Alima. She stated that to understand some of the challenges and benefits of mentoring. That's good. Let's keep coming with the comments. We can go into the chat box and impute down what we've taken so far. One of our yardstick for also measuring the progress of this program is to ensure that we track that. Wow, Sister Kafaya, thank you very much. I think she has dropped. She said to be how to be acute as a mentor in this stage. Thank you very much. Malam Dawood Damilari said to be a better mentor. Thank you. Wow. Abdul Salam, he said becoming a mentor using digital tool. Wow, that's nice. Thank you very much. I think this is just to showcase that our people are participating. So please, for those that are just joining, let us ensure we have a pen and papers to take note of whatever our facilitators will be saying going forward. So please, I think I've just taken like 3 points so far. So let's keep dropping our comments. Yes, understanding the concept of mentoring. Fantastic. Sister Asanat Adidokun said, understanding the concept of mentoring. We are waiting for that feedback, please, while our lecturer tries to join.
Assalamu alaikum. I don't know whether one of the admins can share a slide and let me continue with the program.
Wa alaikum salam. I think Brabib is trying to get in touch with the facilitator. So please let's just hold on. Wow, Sir Lekon Pedro. Di Pedro to acquire the skills needed to mentor in digital age. Yeah, Bra Shukule Abdul Majid said, understanding mentoring skills and competencies. Wow, I'm glad. I'm glad that our people are following up with the program because, you know, one of the odd time is around here in Nigeria. For those that are in Nigeria, this is almost 9:30. If you're not very much alert, there's tendency that you might slip on and miss out from what our facilitators are saying. So please, let's keep fit. Let's stay alert with our pens and papers and put up whatever things our facilitator will be putting up. Rabib, your mic is
Hello.
on.
Yeah, my mic is on. Sorry. So I've gotten through to the lecturer. He's trying to change his network. So having a poor network. So at this point, while we wait for him, I think he's doing something about it. I would want if we can put one of our the mother of today's event on the spot, because I know she's an expert in mentoring children, and she's also a proud owner of a school. So I wouldn't mind if you can add one or two contributions to the topic. I don't know if Aja is hearing. We would like you to say one or two things on the topic. While we expect one or two, the chairperson is also a professional trainer. We have to, you can also say one or two things. I don't know if Aja is ready for us. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I know it's something you can gladly do for us. Can you just say one or two words on the topic of discussion? We appreciate that. Ma. Okay. While we are expecting her, I want to take it over to the chairperson. If she can also say one or two things on the topic, being a professional in training. Can you just speak to the topic, one or two things? So I do appreciate that.
Now, I'm the Bismillah Rahman Rahim. For me, mentoring is a very, very important concept because of its benefits both to the mentor and the mentee. So it is a way for people who are upcoming to be able to learn from those who they look up to, perhaps in their field of endeavor, in industry, in academics, or even spiritually. So one could have several mentors for different areas of one's life. So you could have someone who is your mentor in your academic pursuits. You could have someone who is your mentor in your professional life. You could have a spiritual mentor. You could have someone who is your mentor in business and entrepreneurship and financial literacy and things like that. So one of the things I think we need to be wary about is that sometimes when people have someone as a mentor, they tend to put them on a pedestal that makes them forget that this person is also human and they're not perfect and they would make mistakes. So when we have someone as a mentor, it doesn't necessarily mean we are taking everything about them hook, line, and sinker. We have to know what is our objective for the mentoring with this person. What exactly do we want to take from them? And so this is why, as Muslims, we can actually have a person of another faith as a mentor. but we know we're not going to take anything regarding our spirituality from them. So they can be our mentor in any other part of our worldly affairs, whether it's business, entrepreneurship, or things like that. But we wouldn't take anything from them in terms of our spirituality. So even if someone is a Muslim, you could decide what exactly do you want to take from this person, which aspects are you trying to learn from, and then that's the area that you're going to concentrate on. Another thing, another point is that mentorship relationship should be symbiotic rather than parasitic. So a lot of mentors feel like it has to be one way. It's just them taking from the mentor, like take, not giving anything back. There is the tendency to feel like, what do you want to give back to someone that is so high up there? But then if we recognize it as a symbiotic relationship, first we realize that learning is reciprocal. So you can be learning more from this person, but they could also learn something from you. Also, if there are ways by which you could be beneficial to your mentor one way or the other, even if it's a gift that you can send to them, you know it's not something they cannot afford on their own, but just the thoughtfulness, the gesture alone can go a long way in endearing you to the mind of that mentor. And in this digital age, mentorship no longer requires a lot of physical interaction. There are a lot of people who have mentors that they've never seen, they've never met, but you could still benefit from them. Sometimes you could even have an informal mentorship relationship. So this person doesn't even know that you are under their tutelage. They are just doing their own thing. And then you keep trying to learn from them, look at the way they are doing things, look at what they are doing, and then look at how you can tweak it for your own benefit. So that's still some form of informal mentoring that a lot of us might already be doing without realizing it, and which is actually important for us to realize it so that we do not unconsciously take what we're not supposed to be taking from this kind of people. So basically, if we feel that there is someone that we want to learn from, or at this stage, I think a lot of us are already at the stage where others are looking up to us for mentorship, and we don't even know how to go about it. Like, what should we be doing? How structured should it be? I'm sure our lecturer is going to talk more on some of this once it comes up. I pray the network works out. But I think that one of the ways we can do things is, for example, by having books or resources. It could be ebooks, physical books, podcasts, or things that we want the mentee to listen to, and then we can discuss. So it's not a lot of lecturing. So mentoring is not lecturing. So it's not you telling the mentee what to do, but it's you like guiding them through. And it's also important to allow them to make some mistakes, because without mistakes, there would be no learning. And so it's important to allow them make some mistakes, and then together you analyze, you do a post-mortem. What happened? What should you have thought of? What should you have done better? What's the lesson in this? And then that way they're actually learning, compared to when you are just doing everything and telling them exactly what to do and how to do it in a way that it's just you spoon feeding them. That's not really helpful. Also, one could outgrow a mentor-mentee relationship such that the mentee themselves are able to stand on their own, and even they and the mentor are now at par in some circumstances. That happens. So yeah, there will be mutual respect, but we then understand that the cheese has moved, the relationship is different, and we should realize that and stop treating these persons as if they are still the starry-eyed young teenager that walked up to you at one camping program 15, 20 years ago. So just realizing that this person is also more mature, and then treating and relating with them that way is important. It doesn't mean that they will no longer respect you because, oh, he's now a big man himself, but at least you would also need to respect them more than you were doing before, when they were still a young teenager under your tutelage. So I think those are some points that readily come to mind, and it will be good to also have contribution from others while we wait for our lecturer.
That's a very beautiful contribution from our chairperson. Jazakumullah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, well, you're back, sir.
I'm actually sorry. I'm having some network, some what's called glitch from my end. I don't know. So what I've done is to send my slide. If somebody, I've sent my slide to Madam Audu to help me display from his end. So I don't know why I'm able to connect on my laptop. So I have to connect through my phone. So we'll be expecting Madam Audu to help me do the display while I do the presentation from my end. So thank you. Madam Audu, is it convenient for you to do that for me?
Yeah, I'm still searching for the slide. Did you send it to my WhatsApp or?
Yes, your WhatsApp.
Okay, let me check. Oh, thank you.
I don't know why my laptop is not connecting. Okay,
sir,
I
you
think
can
my
continue,
laptop
sir.
has connected. Okay, let me see. My laptop has Oh, if it's possible for me to be disabled, as in I've been disabled. Okay. Okay, let me continue from where I stopped. Yes, before the network issue, I think I was on introduction. I've made us to realize that mentoring is actually one of the old forms of education, but this time around is an informal education. However, there has been a kind of paradigm shift considering digital age. And I made us to realize that much as this digital age has brought a lot of benefits, it's also not with some of the challenges which we are going to be considering in our presentation. And I made us to realize that the truth of the matter is that we have to accept digital age as well as digital mentoring. So I tried to quote a saying by Albert Einstein where he said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. So this points to the fact that if we want to get the best out of our mentoring, there's need for us to adopt and adapt to what we call digitalization. So from there, I move further to what I call some facts about mentoring. There have been a lot of research just to establish the importance of mentoring. Some of them are actually from McKinsey. I have some from 1,500 UK managers. I have some of them from Business Finance Magazine. The first statistics I have is that it was found that mentoring is one of the most effective tools in people development. This is based on a study of top 200 executives in 50 large US companies. The research was carried out by McKinsey 2000. There's another study by Institute of Management involving 1,500 UK managers. So the result of this research is that mentoring is one of the top 2 most powerful leadership tools used in organization. And there's other findings as revealed. This has to do with Fortune 500. The finding revealed that 71% of Fortune 500 and private companies use mentoring in their organization. And there's another one. This one says that 77% of US companies surveyed in 2000 said mentoring has improved retention and performance of employee. The reference to this is Business Finance Magazine 2000. Let me add about 2 or 3 more. There's also another research by Harvard Business Review. This shows that 90% reported that their experience as a mentor helped them become a better leader or manager at work. So what this is trying to tell us is that if you are a mentor, you are mentoring, aside the fact that you are building capacity in your mentees, you're also developing yourself. The situation or the kind of the similitude is like the person that is washing clothes. You get to realize that before the clothes get clean, your hand has also gotten clean. So let me wrap it up with this one. There is a Gallup. There's an organization we call Gallup. According to millions of surveys by Gallup, it is observed that more than 80% of workers globally are be found to be disengaged, thus creating workforce engagement challenges. So when we say workers are disengaged, it doesn't mean that they have lost their job. It doesn't mean that they are not working again. But at times when you are driving, there's something called auto drive. You don't even know where you are going, but you are driving. It shows you are disengaged. You are just on autopilot. So this applies to a lot of people in organization. They are just going to work for going sake. They are just going to work to get salary. So they are disengaged. But what has been found is that with an effective mentoring, we can bring them back to life by being engaged again. So these are some facts about mentoring. Now, let's quickly look at some concepts as far as mentoring is concerned. The person that made contribution has actually made us to realize some things about mentoring, which has actually summarized everything about mentoring. So let me just take us through some concepts about mentoring. I will be talking about mentoring. So you see, when you say mentoring is not accidental. Mentoring is strategic and deliberate. Somebody was trying to present a scenario which she termed mentoring. She said there was a day she was going somewhere, and when it got to that street, everywhere was flooded. Everywhere was flooded. So there was no way she could actually navigate her way. But coincidentally, she saw a man who lives in that street, and the man was able to navigate his way by tiptoeing. He moved from where the water started to the end of the water to where he was going, and he didn't get stained. The sister said, as the man was going, she was following him step by step, toe by toe, until the man got to the extreme edge. And he went to the man. He said, you have mentored me. But the truth of the matter is that that is not mentoring because it's not deliberate. The person in quote who happened to be a mentor is not aware that somebody is understudying him or her. So in that situation, it's not mentoring. So when we are talking about mentoring, we need to get the concept of mentoring right. So that is why I think it will be very important for me to mention about 2 or 3 definitions of what is referred to as mentoring. The first one is that when you say mentoring, mentoring is a reciprocal and collaborative at-will relationship. When I say reciprocal and collaborative, what this implies is that it takes 2 to tangle. The person that is mentoring as well as the mentee, they must be aware of such relationship that most often occurs between a senior who is known as the mentor and junior employee in case in an organization who is known as the mentee for the purpose of the mentee growth, learning, and career development. That is one definition. Another definition says that mentoring is a positive development partnership. Is it talking about 2-person relationship, which is driven primarily by the mentee? It offers a reflexive space where the mentee can take responsibility for and discuss their development. What this definition is trying to tell us are, number 1, mentorship or mentoring is deliberate and strategic. The 2 parties must be ready and willing to do it. Number 2, it is often driven not by the mentor, and that's the mistake we make. Not by the mentor, but by the mentee who want to learn. And number 3, there is a kind of objective, which is what? For advancement, growth, and learning of the mentee. However, if you look at this definition, it's also important for us to point out some attributes. The first one being reciprocal relationship, that is a 2-way relationship. The second one being that developmental benefit for the mentee. It does not mean that the mentor cannot also benefit, but the primary beneficiary in mentoring is always the mentee. And the third one is that it includes regular interaction between mentor and mentee. You know, most often we try to misconstrue mentoring and coaching. And that third one is the kind of the difference between coaching and mentoring. coaching is always a very short-term relationship, whereas mentoring is long-term. It can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, and the rest like that. And number two, why coaching is being driven by the coach, mentoring is always driven by the mentee. So this is another definition. And I don't know if my, Mr. Audu, have you been able to display the slide?
No, actually, I'm not.
Okay, can you disable me? Okay.
I'm trying to reach
Wow.
out to the
Can you
host.
give me host right?
Yeah, I'm
Can you
trying
give
to
me
reach
host
out to
right?
Yes, I'm trying to reach out to the host to do that. So he's not responding to call.
If you can, no, you can give me host right. I think my system is stable now.
Yeah, that's what we do. So you can go ahead. So while we try to reach out to the host to make it. Then maybe
No, what I mean is that you can give me the host right, so I will be able to share my screen.
What I'm saying is
It
I
seems
can't
my
do
system
that
is
from
stable.
here.
Okay,
Yes, I can't.
okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Let me continue. So I've given us the meaning of mentoring, and the truth of the matter is that if you're able to do mentoring very well, there are a lot of benefits that we stand to gain. One of it is that we have a kind of effective learning and first-hand knowledge sharing. So the mentee is going to learn effectively why the mentor is giving first-hand knowledge sharing.
Yes, sir, you can share now. I think so. You can share now. You have made it. Oh. Sorry for interrupting you. You can share your screen now.
I'm still not the host. I've tried, but it's not working. Host disabled.
You are now a host.
Oh, sorry. I have two devices. Okay, I think you actually made one, the host. I have to device okay, let me see if I have to device. Okay, don't worry, let me continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have the right. You can make it. You have the power now. You are the host now. You can make that other one.
Okay.
The host.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Wait a second one. Okay, yeah, thank you. So I made also realize that if we do mentoring very well, there are a lot of benefits that we can actually gain. I made mention of effective learning on the part of the mentee and first-hand knowledge sharing from the mentor. And also, like, mentoring is a practical thing. So the mentor will also go a long way in giving practical insight, guidance, and advice to the mentee, and also is going to increase the confidence level of the mentee. I was discussing with some people yesterday, and I made us to realize that one thing is for you to have competence, but the truth of the matter is that competence without confidence is worthless. So a lot of Gen Z, young generation, they have this competence, but unfortunately they don't have confidence. So mentoring will also instill in them that confidence that will allow them to progress in their career. And also mentoring also improve interpersonal and communication skills. This is not just for the mentee alone, for both mentee and the mentor. And also it's a form of empowerment. And lastly, it positively impacts the lives of both the mentee and the mentor. So this is just a brief overview about mentoring. Now, the second concept I would like to talk about is digital age. If we are talking about digital age, we are also referring to information age. It's actually a time when large amounts of information are widely available to many people, largely through computer technology. So that is what is meant by digital age. And it is this digital age that gives birth to what we call digitalization. According to Stephen Klotzman, it described digitalization as the process of purposely moving from the manual or analog process, just like we have in the past when we do our mentoring physically. This is analog, it is manual. We move from this process, such as managing commercial organization. Example is just like what we have in some organization. When they keep their data, they use manual process, but a lot of them has gone automated. So same thing applies to digitalization. You move from manual process to what we call automated process. So as far as mentoring is concerned, we move from physical to what we call e-mentoring or digital mentoring. So that is what is meant by digitalization. So when we now talk about digital mentoring, another name for digital mentoring is also called e-mentoring. We are talking about mentoring approaches that are most effective in today's digital world. It is based on deep understanding of technology and ability to use technology to achieve mentoring goals. When we're talking about mentoring goals, we are talking about learning, we're talking about development, we are talking about career advancement. But instead of doing this manually, when we now apply technology, when we apply digital tools to achieve these goals, that is what we call digital mentoring. And interesting thing about digital mentoring is that it actually gives us a lot of flexibility of scheduling. And also it allows us to overcome geographical distance while giving us access to a lot of people, access to a lot of places that ordinarily we might not be able to travel to. So this is just overview of some of the concepts we'll be mentioning in the course of our discussion. Now, let's move forward to what we need as mentors to equip ourselves with, and that is skills. Aside competence, I know a lot of us are competent. We are competent, but competency alone is not enough to make us effective mentors. We also need what we call skills. So that is what we make us to discuss what we call mentoring skill model. So what mentoring skill model does, when we talk about skills, there's this quote by Bashir Adi, is that skill is wealth. Get one, get freedom. Skill is wealth. You get one, you get freedom. So if you want to be very effective in terms of mentoring, you also need to acquire the necessary skills in addition to the competency we have gotten. So I have a model which I'm going to share with us. Though the model tries to look at the skills that are required by the mentor, the skills that are required by the mentees, and the interlink between the two. However, my focus is going to be on the mentor alone, the skills required by the mentor. So that's why it's going to be my focus. This is the model. If you look at the model, we have some that are mentee-specific skills. We have some that are mentor-specific skills. And in between the two, we have shared core skills. These are the skills that are required to be possessed by both mentor and the mentee. So I won't be focusing on the mentee skill. I will be focusing on the mentor-specific skill. The first one is instructing, developing capabilities. The next one is inspiring. You must be able to inspire. You must be able to inspire the mentor, the mentee. Another one is providing corrective feedback. Feedback is very, very important. Feedback is what will make the mentee and even you, the mentor, to know if the mentoring is achieving the target objective or not, if the mentee is doing well or not. So you need to give the mentee constructive and timely feedback from time to time. This is also very, very important. Another skill that you need to have as a mentor is what we call managing risk. The skill to manage risk. I have to tell you the truth. Digital age has brought a lot of risk. One of it is confidentiality. There is no confidentiality as far as digital is concerned. Another one is the issue of data privacy. The risk of data privacy is also part of the risk. But as a mentor, you must possess the necessary skills by which you are going to manage these skills. Another one is opening doors. Opening doors. You must have the skill to open door for the mentee. Where the mentee cannot enter, you as a mentor, you must have the skills on how to open the door of opportunities, the door of challenges for the mentee. And in addition, as a mentee, you also need to have what we call active listening skill, active listening skill. And at the same time, you must be able to build trust. You know, one thing about mentoring is that, I mentioned at the beginning that mentoring is often driven by the mentee. But unfortunately, if the mentee cannot trust you, they won't be able to divulge information that will even be, they won't be able to divulge some information to you, which you can actually use to benefit them. So for them to be able to give you some of this information, you must be able to build trust in them. Let them see you as a trustworthy person. Let them see you that this is a person I can actually probably divulge some information to. Otherwise, you will not be able to achieve anything, regardless of your competence. So these are very, very important. Active listening skill, ability to build trust, inspiring skill, providing corrective feedback, managing skill, and open door skills. All these are very, very important. So that is by the way. So let's quickly go to the main discourse, which is digital age, navigating mentoring challenges in digital age. As I mentioned, digital age has come with a lot of challenges or drawbacks, and at the same time, there are benefits. However, for us to be able to get these benefits, we should be able to work around these challenges. We should be able to navigate these challenges. So what are these challenges? The first challenge is inadequate access to technology and internet access. This is a big challenge. Inadequate access to technology and internet access. I remember when I was running a program in Unilag, the person that taught us computer, he made us to realize that when he was studying in South Africa, he as a student, the whole of bandwidth of internet he was using is more than what the whole of Unilag is using. Is that as a student in South Africa then, the bandwidth of internet he was using is more than what the whole of Unilag is using. So that's one of the challenges we are having. Internet access, as well as access to technology, is one of the challenges. Another challenge is lack of digital skills. I'm going to talk extensively on digital skills. If you are talking about digital skills, it's not just ability to use computer. It's not just ability to work on computer. There are some other things that are attached to it. If you are talking about digital skills, there are about 7 skills that you are expected to have, both as mentee and also as a mentor. We are going to discuss that when we get there. So lack of digital skill is also another drawback as far as mentoring is concerned in digital age. The next one is what I call logistic barrier. By logistic barrier, I'm actually referring to 2 things. The first one is language barrier, and the second one is different in time zone. You know, we are not from the same part. When you're talking about digital age mentoring, we are talking about mentoring that involve mentee and mentor from different countries. And you agree with me that when we are in different countries, there's every tendency that we will not be at the same time zone. While some people are resting, some people will be working. So this is also another challenge that we face. Another challenge is what I call ethical and cultural awareness. This is also very, very important. Ethical and cultural awareness. As a mentor, you need to learn ethics. You need to be aware of the culture of other countries where your mentee are. Let me just give an instance. There was somebody there is this guy, he was greeting somebody, say, how was your night? The lady has been trying to stomach it, because the lady is not in Nigeria. She has been trying to stomach it, but it got to a particular time, he could not stomach it again. So he came out angry. What is your business with my night? Why will you ask about my night? Is it of your business? But in this part of the country, we don't see anything wrong when we say, how was your night? But sincerely, our night is part of our privacy. So this is part of cultural issue as a mentor that you need to understand. So cultural as well as ethical awareness is also another challenge. Another challenge is difficulty of establishing rapport and relationship. Digital platform is not like a physical platform. If you are talking about physical platform, we can see ourselves and the approach you can actually use in order to establish relationship and rapport. But that is not as far as digital platform is concerned. There's often difficulty in establishing rapport and relationship. So another one is perception of students' needs. When I say students' need or mentee needs, it will be very, very difficult for you when we are on digital platform to really perceive the needs of your student very well. When we're talking about perception, it's not just by, there are some things we can perceive by our sight. There are some things we can perceive by body language. But when we are talking about digital, you will not have access to body language. So this makes perception very, very difficult. Another challenge is data privacy vulnerabilities. Yes, I made mention of this. We put a lot of data. When we are mentoring, we put some data on the internet, which can actually pose some challenges. So this is also another challenge. However, I have some suggested way forward. I think I have been able to identify 5 or 6 things that we can actually use to mitigate these challenges. The first one is that we need to acquire digital competence. Digital competence. You that you want to mentor on digital platform, it's very, very important for you to have what we call digital competence. So when we're talking about digital competence or digital skills, there are about 7 of them that are very core in this 21st century. Because digital competency or skills is not just on how to use technology, but also for you to understand technology. Not just how to use technology, but also for you to understand technology. And there are about 7 of them. The first one is technical skill. The second one is information management skill. The third one is communication skill. Fourth, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. These skills are very, very important for you to say you are digitally competent. If you don't have these 7 skills as a mentor, you are not digitally competent. Definitely, you will not be able to navigate what we call the challenges of digital age. So that's number 1. The second way forward is what I call ethical and cultural awareness. It's very, very important. Once you realize the background, the country where your mentee is coming from, the onus is on you to understand their culture. Because one man food is another man poison. And Yoruba will say, this is the way we do in our homeland. It might be a taboo in another land. So it's very, very important for you to be culturally aware of what is obtainable in your mentee land or country. That's also very, very important. And you also need to understand what I call ethical awareness. The next thing we need as a way forward in navigating mentoring challenges in digital age is what I call emotional intelligence. When I say emotional intelligence, I'm actually referring to abilities to manage your own emotion and that of others. Ability for you to put yourself in the shoe of the mentee. It is easier to give instruction than to carry it out. So when you are giving instruction, you are giving advice, you should try as much as possible to put yourself in the position of the mentee. This is also very, very important. Another thing is for you to stay on top of emerging technology. Every day, we see a lot of platforms, we see a lot of tools. So you have to stay ahead of technology changes. And you try as much as possible to be ahead of your mentee. And that's why it's no disclosure agreement. There's nothing wrong just to build trust in your mentee. You can come up with a document that any information you divulge, I want to give you assurance that I am not going to disclose your information. So this is going to give them a lot of confidence, a lot of trust in you. This is also very, very important on how we can navigate challenges in digital age. So that is by the way. Now, let me quickly go to takeaway. I think my time is up. My takeaway is this. Number one, mentoring is one of the old informal education systems. So if you want to probably learn, want to develop human capacity, want to build the younger generation, one of those tools we can use is mentoring. Because the truth of the matter is that there are some things that formal education cannot do, but mentoring can actually achieve them. So that's number one. And also confidentiality, trust, understanding, and positive expectation are key to successful mentoring. And as well, a good mentor can help the mentee become more effective at work, learn new skills, develop great confidence, and make them better decisions, and make them make better decisions for their overall growth and personal development. Another thing that we may mention is on the issue of competence. I said, if you really want to navigate the digital age, as far as mentoring is concerned, the 7 skills we mentioned are very, very important. And another thing we mentioned in the course of our presentation is that just like competency, acquiring necessary skill, just like competency is very, very important. I meant to mention that competency alone is not enough for you to mentor effectively. It's also important for you to acquire the necessary skills, because these two actually complement one another. And also, you should not forget that things are changing every day. Things are changing every day. You should try as much as possible to stay on top of emerging technology in order for you to be able to mentor effectively. So in conclusion, there are 2 quotes I would like to conclude my presentation with. The first one says that the first one is by Richard Branson. Richard Branson said, if you ask any successful business person, they will always have had a great mentor at one point along the road. So what this is trying to say is that for every successful man, for every successful businessman, there is always a mentor at one point or the other. And also there is one mistake we make about mentoring. We believe that it is only younger person, is only an older person that can actually mentor a younger person. There are instances where younger person can actually mentor older people. We have instances, even your mentee, you have mentored your mentee, and your mentee can also mentor you in the future. There is something we call today, we call it reverse mentoring, where you see younger ones, especially in the aspect of technology. Most of us, we are becoming outdated. And these Gen Z people, they are very, very much kind of in tune with current trend in technology. So they can actually mentor us. We should not shy away from the fact, from the challenge we are facing, as far as probably our career is concerned or otherwise. So that is, by the way. Another quote is that there's another quote by Lucia Ballas. It said, the mediocre mentors, it tried to differentiate or categorize mentor into mediocre, good mentor, superior mentor, and great mentor. He said, mediocre mentor tells, he just said, do this, that is what he does. The good mentors explain, the superior mentor demonstrates, but the great mentor inspires. So you need to ask yourself, what type of mentor are you? Are you a mediocre, good mentor, or superior mentor? But the ultimate is that we should try as much as possible to be the greatest mentor. So I want to thank you very much for listening, and I will be willing and ready to take questions about mentoring. And again, let me apologize for the technological glitch. It's highly regretted, and it's something I never emphasized. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. We appreciate that beautiful presentation. Is understandable because you also mentioned it as part of your challenges that one of the things that affects the relationship between the mentor and the mentees is this technology which we have just experienced. So it's not a problem. We pray that we'll overcome them better in this part of the world. Because of time, please, we want to quickly ask those of us that have questions or comments within 1 minute to quickly signify so that I can actually give us numbers so that we can save time. Yeah, I have Malam Anyela Olaide as number 1. I also have Malam Said Olayinka Shitu as number 2. I'm not seeing any other hand. Then I think I'll be number 3 then. So number 1, Bismillah. Oh, okay. Number 4, Ajia Kafayat Hassan. Number 1, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. The speaker, I would like to say Jazakumullah khairan to you for this wonderful presentation. May Allah continue to increase you in knowledge. And to the organizer, may Allah accept this as an act of worship from you and from us. Yeah, my question to you is that, can you please explain what is the relationship between a role model and a mentor? Relationship between a role model and a mentor. Thank you.
Number 2, please go ahead with your question so that you can take all of them at once. Number 2. Number 2, Malam Said Olayinka.
Yeah, I'm here. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Jazakum Allah for the presentation. Very wonderful, and it has really enriched me. My own question is, how do you handle a relationship with a mentor or a former mentor that I would say that lets you down? Let's say, for instance, let me even make it clear. I had someone that was a mentor, and it was a formal relationship. He understood that I'm taking him as a mentor, and I'm learning the ropes to develop in the construction industry with him. But at a point in time, we had a job together, and he spoke to my subordinates behind me, and the way he spoke to them was not encouraging, like telling them that they should also watch everything I was doing, which means I'm not competent enough. So it's really pained me, and that between both of us, we are Muslims. I just kept quiet on the issue and I moved on. So sometimes when we discuss issue about mentorship, I started having problem of trust. But my main fear is, how do I make sure that I don't do that to those that take me as a role model, as a mentor also?
Okay.
How to learn from your experience.
Okay. My own question is with regards to some of us that interact with younger ones that want to mentor them academically and spiritually. And from your own side, you said that the mentees are the ones that are supposed to inspire, or no, so they're supposed to bring about this issue of mentor-mentee relationship. But in our own case, we are the ones that are always pulling, because we believe that they don't actually understand where we are taking them to, and we want to bring them towards that place. So we need to do a lot of sacrifice, going to them from one place to another, trying to let them see what we are actually calling them to. Is that one not mentoring, or how do you describe that? That's my question. So Ajia Kafaya, please go ahead. Number 4.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Now, my own question is on data privacy and security. Because in this age and time, we know that most of the information our mentees would forward to us usually comes in through our phones. So how are we expected as mentors to protect the privacy of our mentees, such that our spouses, our kids, they don't just lay their hands on our phones and gain access or get access to some of this privileged information?
Okay, lastly, because of time, I can see IBB. Please, I think you raise up your hand. That's the last person. Your questions, please. Please go ahead. There is no time.
Okay, my question is, mentor made or born? What I mean is, you made mention of some skills that a mentor should have, like ability to inspire, ability to handle. What I want to get is, can this be learned, or is this something that is in someone's trait?
Okay, so Mr. Shafi, please, you can now respond to those questions. You are muted in case you are talking. You are muted. Mr. Shafi Olabanjo, please, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I said one of those things that often get missing as far as mentoring is concerned is feedback. So I want to appreciate the feedback I'm getting in terms of the questions. So that shows that at least we have gotten one or two things from the discussion. So let me now answer our questions. I'll be starting from the last question, which says, are mentors made or born? The truth of the matter is that mentoring is an art. And when you say something is an art, it's something that can actually acquired. That's why some people, what they do is that they have a lot of mentorship program for younger ones. But people that they use as mentor, they will organize a lot of training for them, competency building, in order for them to acquire necessary skills and competencies that are required of an effective mentors. But unfortunately, most of us that organize mentoring program today, we don't equip the mentors with these necessary skills. That is why they often fumble and wumble. So that's number one. I think I answered the question on either mentors are made or born. So the second one has to do with,
sorry, sir. Before you continue, you have we are having a re-echo, and it's disturbing actually. So I think you have two of your gadgets on. So as you're speaking, the second one is re-echoing it. I don't know if you can disable one.